What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, I'm going to give you my watch list for Monday morning. Now, it's a little bit past 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I wanted to wait until the futures market opened before I did this watch list because, as you know, or you may know, the market sold off quite a bit on Friday. I had a red day on Friday. It was a tricky day in the market. And so before I took the time of building a watch list, I wanted to get a sense of, are we going lower on Monday? Is this going to be another day of pullback? Or is the market stabilizing? So as of right now, the S&P futures are showing slightly red from Friday's close, but more or less flat. So that's tolerable. Okay, so that's good news. We're not so far on a big gap down. Now, it would be better, I suppose, if we were on a gap up, but flat is tolerable in this case. So if we jump onto the screen share, I've got the S&P futures, or the S&P 500 up here. This shows Friday after hours into the 8 p.m. close. And one of the challenges that I had on Friday, as you probably know, I had a red day Friday. In fact, it was a big red day, down $44,000. Last week, I had two red days, both on Monday and on Friday. Not great, was not thrilled about it by any means, but it is what it is. The problem for me on Friday was that I was a little too aggressive in sizing up. One of the things I often say, especially when you're in a place of being conservative, is don't size up until you first built a cushion on the day. So whatever your daily goal is, let's say a third of that or a quarter of that is your cushion. And once you've got a cushion of profit on the day, then you can start to take a little bit of risk because you're kind of in the driver's seat, you're moving in the right direction. On Friday, on my first position, I bought 30,000 shares, and it was on a cheap stock, so that's okay. That's not too aggressive. But when I was up almost $10,000 on it, I didn't sell. I doubled my position. I doubled it to 60,000 shares, and then the stock jackknifed down, and before I knew it, I was deep in the red. That was a mistake. Now, if I'd already been up $50,000 or $75,000 on the day, then by all means, put the pedal to the metal and take that risk. But I didn't have the cushion to be taking that risk. So I really don't know what came over me. I think I was, I don't know. I think there were a couple different things going on. I was obviously frustrated from having had a difficult start to the week on Monday of last week where I went red and then tried to, recover it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I had done a pretty good job of that. And all I really needed was a couple decent trades on Friday to close the gap. And then suddenly I'm getting emotional and taking massive size. To be honest, I think the issue was that I was being impatient. I didn't get my first trade on Friday until about 8:30 in the morning. And I think I was like, all right, finally, we've got a setup and I'm just going to give this thing, everything I've got. And let's hope it works because there's probably not going to be many more opportunities today. And it didn't work. And then there weren't more opportunities and I really couldn't recover the loss. So not great, but listen, one thing I can say, and you guys who have watched for a while, you know this, I've gotten beaten up by the market more times than I could possibly count. It's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. And the recovery is one of the things that a lot of you guys enjoy watching. So what I will do is I'll put a link pinned to the top comment and linked in the description where you guys can do a 2-week trial at Warrior Trading. It's a 2-week trial for $20. During that trial, you will get access to this software right here, your own web browser. You can log in, you can adjust the layout, you can save your settings for charts, scanners, news feed, chat room, and my live audio video broadcast. So you can be watching over my shoulder and you can actually be seeing me trading, see my P&L and everything in real time, hearing my commentary. And then as part of the 2-week trial, we're going to give you access to a selection of classes so you can start to get a sense of what it's really like to be a member of the Warrior Trading community and to go through the Warrior Pro curriculum. So I think you guys will enjoy that quite a bit. Now, so during this first week of August, you're going to watch me as I mount a recovery. So I'm currently sitting obviously red on the month of August. I'm not thrilled about that. If we look at my P&L, this will be the first month this whole year that I've gone red. So first day of the month, and I'm red 44 grand, right? Okay, so that's where we're at. My back's up against the wall, and now you get to watch as I stage a recovery. So starting with Monday, the goal is small size, build the cushion, and then as soon as I have a cushion, all right, pedal to the metal, let's get aggressive. But if I can't build a cushion, I'm not gonna get aggressive. That's what I'm reminding myself, and I'm doing it with a sticky note. So can't see it very well, but I put this sticky note right on my monitor. I put it right below my P&L. I almost cover my P&L. So when I'm trying to look at my P&L, I see, remember, small size, build a cushion, and for the love of Caitlin, be patient. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay, so let's start putting together a watch list for Monday morning. S&P 500, like I said, we had a couple, red days in a row. Last week was not a great day or a great week in the overall market, all things considered. Generally speaking, does the market have to be going higher for me to be making money? No, it doesn't. I can make money on red months in the S&P 500. I can make money even in red years. In fact, I haven't had a red year really since I first turned the corner as a trader. So for more than a decade trading every year, I've been green, even though, the market has obviously had, some down years. So that's good news. But I will say that when there's this kind of high volume selling, as you see right here, this is very classic. Slow grind up, and then a little bit of news that comes out rattles, and you get this high volume selling as people take profit. That does create a weaker sentiment in the market on those days. And I should have been more cognizant of that on Friday. So if we pull up, we're going to go through a couple different scans. I always start with the after hours top gainers scanner, because this shows us what was moving after hours on Friday. And we have PBM, which naturally is not a stock that I really want to talk too much about. This is a stock that I did get super frustrated on. It was not clean at all. This was it on Monday? I think it was on Monday well, it doesn't matter what day it was. But this is a stock that was really difficult to trade, and I was red on it, whatever day this was. Maybe it was Thursday or Wednesday. So popped up, dropped down, came back up, couldn't squeeze through new highs, rolled over hard, rallied back up, rejection, and sold off. So Friday and after hours, it's popping up a little bit. I would classify that as a dead cat bounce, bouncing off the low. That's all it is. You throw a ball out of a skyscraper, it's going to bounce, but don't get confused that the bounce is anything like strong momentum. It's just a little bounce off the low, and that's all it is. So no expectations for that for a trade on Monday. ACCG up 58%. 13 million share float is slightly higher. And note the sell-off and then the rally. So Friday, big red day, then a bounce. Again, that's a dead cat bounce, not interested. XCUR, this is a 2.5 million share float stock. We've traded this one before. It's had some higher volume days in the past, but I honestly have sort of lower expectations for it. So I would probably say no. Let me just turn on the 200 EMA. We're right around the 200 EMA. The 200 EMA is at 885. That's probably going to be an issue. It almost ran right into that after hours. So the result is there's nothing on the after hours top scanner that I'm excited about. So let's go back into our scans. Now let's go to continuation. All right, so continuation scans. These are looking at some stocks that have made big moves in the last few trading sessions. SI, this has had a big range, recent IPO, but mostly selling off. 20 million share float, leaving it alone. ABVX, this one looks like there must have been some news or something. It's a biotech company out of France. 27 million share float. It's not going to work. FIG, the float's actually higher on this. Higher priced as well, stair-stepping down right here after that move. No interest. DRX, 29 million share float. That's too high. AGH, 4.37 million share float. That's okay, but this type of candle, don't like seeing that. The pop and the rejection, so that's a no-go. CELC, 23 million share float. That's too high. Price is also too high. ELWS, this one, the price is great. It's between, 3 and 15, kind of a nice sweet spot there. 900,000 share float. I'm okay with that as well. But then you look at the daily, and this throws me off a little bit. So it's already up from 2 to 6. So it's already made a bit of a move here. And usually with these, the continuation is on light volume. It doesn't have a lot of liquidity. It's hard to take big size. And then eventually you get a big flush. So unless this had particularly high levels of short interest, and I don't know, I'll check right now, but I probably wouldn't really consider it. So ELWS. So it's got 900,000 share float. And let's see, short interest on it is showing only 60,000 shares. So it's like 6%. It's not very high. The cost to borrow is up quite a bit, but that's over the last few weeks, and that makes sense because of this move here. But the total number of shares held short are pretty low, so I don't think you're going to get a short squeeze. Newegg, this is the e-commerce, kind of website. It's too expensive. That's no go. So now just jumping through to see if there's anything else here, and I don't like anything else. So we don't have anything really great on the continuation scan. Recent reverse splits. Now, there are some recent reverse splits that we've had on watch, and we've had some nice moves. IMNN, we mentioned this one in the watch list last week. And sure enough, you did get a day here where it went from 8 to 12. But it didn't stay up there. It ended up coming back down. It only had about 2.5 million shares of volume, though. This, I still think, has potential. But, it's funny because it even, it had news here, but it wasn't able to hold up. So we'll just have to keep that one on kind of a side chart. Now, what I'm going to do on this scan, I'm going to move this over just a little bit so I can see the date of the split. So 8-1, so DRMA, Dharma. This is a stock that if it has news, could definitely put in a decent move. It's got a relatively low float. You've got this split. So I would say that's worth watching. Room on the 200 up to about 17. Biotech stock, right? So I would put that one up. So this is what I would say. Is it on the watch list? Yes. Am I going to buy it on Monday? Probably not. It would need to have news or to start spiking up. If it starts moving, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, maybe I can work with it. But you can see the daily chart's been beaten up for a while. So reverse splits in the past, then it squeezes up. Another squeeze here, sold off. Another reverse split. It wouldn't surprise me to see another squeeze. It's just, again, how much can we expect it to go up? I mean, the thing is, because it's been beaten up so much, it wouldn't be out of this world to get a 50% or even 100% bounce off the low, but it's going to need a news catalyst. So we'll keep that one on watch. So what that means is all of a sudden I see it hit the scans right here. I click on it and I see that it's got the red flame. I know it's got breaking news, right? So this software that I use every single day gives me such an edge because it helps me find stocks in real time. And then not only do I find them in real time, I can see what the catalyst is that's driving them higher. And so now I'm empowered to make a decision about whether or not I'm going to take a trade on it. My camera's overheating, so I'm just going to hide the camera view. I don't turn the AC on in my office on the weekends, and it gets pretty hot up here. All right, so anyway, so IMN, so especially after a red day like I had on Friday, I got to save some money. That was a pretty big haircut. So let's see. Never mind how much I'm up on the month. Don't you worry about that. Well, look, I'm red on the month. I'm red on I'm red on August. But I will say, and I said I was going to do this. I will give you my total for July. So July came in at $1,097,807.10. Solid, super solid. Could have done without this guy right here. But nonetheless, all things considered, it was a good month. Always room for improvement, even with $1 million. There's room for improvement. That's the kind of fun thing about trading is there's always room for improvement. All right, so, and then HCTI, 400 million share float. See, this split, even though it's a big split, 250 to 1, it's still gonna have a pretty high float. Well, actually, it's not that high now that I think about it. 2 million shares. I guess I would say this is worth keeping an eye on. But I just have to make a note. So sometimes the market data vendors are a little bit slow to update the floats following a split. So HCTI float needs to reflect the reverse split of 249 to 1. All right, so I'll send that to my developers and then they'll go pester the market data vendor. So anyways, SLXN, this one had the split and had a big move all the way up to over $20 a share. Some of these have already given us big moves, and now we're kind of waiting. TWG, a little bit of a move, but still has more room in it, but it, again, would need news. Okay, so reverse split scanner. That's a great scan. Okay, we like that one. So now let's look at recent IPOs. So let's see. Recent IPO top moving. So I already talked about SI. Oops, got to link this up. I already talked about SI, TLHI, or TLIH. I don't like that really sharp sell-off. That doesn't look good. This might be a Chinese company as well. 10 League International. Well, it says international. So I'll just go check this. TLIH, was that it? Yeah. Singapore. Okay. So it's an international company at the least. Yeah, that's probably why it dropped so much. ANPA, price is a little higher. Figma, we already talked about that. LHAI, selling off. Could be a turnaround story at some point for a curl, but needs news. KM, RK, again, could be a turnaround story, but I mean, let's get real. This is a really embarrassing IPO. It's already, it's going to get a delisting notice within like 6 weeks of IPOing. You guys maintain a price of $1 a share, and they can't even do that. It's a Hong Kong company. So already people are selling and dumping shares. That's not good. MJID, another one. This is probably Chinese. Let's just MJID. So BAM, SEC, MJID. So the prospectus here. Yeah, so Chinese. So recent IPOs, unfortunately, these Chinese stocks are tricky. So we're not seeing anything really juicy on that scan. So we got a couple recent reverse splits that are worth watching, but that's about it. Okay, so then, and obviously Friday, there was some momentum on, like this was a stock that had some momentum, but not a lot of volume, slow grind, not a lot of liquidity. So the name of the game Monday morning is going to be, where do we have news? Where do we have momentum? What's obvious? And how's the overall market look? Do we still have a headwind from the market? If so, let's be cautious. Let's just try to build that cushion. But if things start to get aggressive or things start to look better and we've got a cushion, then that's when I'm going to start to get aggressive. So again, the best way to learn is to be immersing yourself in a community of other traders who are doing this and speaking the language every day. So make sure you guys check out the 2-week trial for $20. Let's spend the month of August trading together and making the most of it. So I'll see you guys. I'll be live streaming at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you sign up for the 2-week trial tonight, you should, and then make sure you sign your market data agreements. That way, by Monday morning, tomorrow morning, you'll have live market data. It doesn't take overnight to turn it on, but it takes like 15, 20 minutes sometimes. So make sure you sign those market data agreements early enough so you can make sure you're getting data bright and early Monday morning. All right, so with that, I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you as always for tuning in. And a reminder, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you live streaming at 7 a.m.